This wasn't just a laugh. It felt small, innocent, but something inside you stopped when you heard it. You didn't know why. You almost ignored it. But now you're here. And maybe that moment wasn't background noise. Maybe it was Allah answering a dua you forgot you made. Don't scroll. What you're about to hear might explain something your heart's been carrying for years. 1. That one laugh wasn't random. It was permission to feel again. You were just walking, not searching for a sign, not in the mood for anything deep, not feeling particularly spiritual, just going through the motions. Maybe you were walking home, maybe scrolling through your phone, maybe you were just sitting in a car, staring out the window, lost in thought. Your body was present, but your soul wasn't. You were somewhere else, somewhere quieter, somewhere heavier, that place in your heart where the weight sits quietly, where the disappointment stays unspoken, where the pain doesn't scream, but it never truly leaves either. You weren't thinking about Allah in that moment. You weren't making dua. You weren't even trying to feel better. You were just surviving. And then it happened. A sound, a burst of something unexpected. So small, so pure. A child laughed. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. But somehow, it cut through everything. It didn't belong to you. That child didn't even know you were there. They were probably playing. Maybe they were being silly with their sibling. Maybe they saw something funny that only made sense in their little world. But it didn't matter, because that sound, that little laugh, it found you. It slipped into your space, into your silence, into that quiet ache you've been carrying, and for just a second, it made it pause. You didn't cry, you didn't smile, but something inside you stopped. Not your breath, your pain. For the first time in a while, you felt interrupted, not by stress, not by anxiety, but by something light. And even if it lasted just a second, you noticed it, you felt the difference. Because your heart hasn't had a reason to feel light in a long time. You've been walking with heaviness so long, you forgot what softness even feels like. And Allah knew that. He knew what you've been holding inside. He knew how long it's been since you felt something pure without fear. He knew how tired you were of pretending you're fine. So He didn't send you a long lecture. He didn't send you a voice in your dreams. He didn't send a lightning bolt or a miracle. He sent you a laugh. A moment so innocent, so untouched by this cruel world, so full of joy that your soul didn't know how to defend itself from it. And for one quiet moment, you felt something return. Not fully, not loudly, but just enough to remind you that you are still alive under all this pain, that your heart is still reachable, that maybe you're not too far gone. You see, sometimes when we break, we don't fall apart. We just go numb. We stop reacting. We stop caring. We stop feeling. It's not that we're strong. It's that we've gone silent. And when that silence becomes too deep, Allah, in His mercy, sends a whisper, not a command, not a demand, just a soft invitation to feel again. And that child's laugh, that pure sound that hit you unexpectedly, was exactly that. It was Allah's way of saying, I haven't forgotten you, and I know you've forgotten how to feel joy. But here, borrow some from this child. Feel it. Even just for a second. You don't have to carry it. You just have to remember that it's still possible. That laugh was not random. It was permission. Permission to feel again. Permission to soften the wall around your heart. Permission to breathe again without guilt. Permission to exist without the heavy armor you wear just to survive each day. Because sometimes healing doesn't begin with tears. It begins with moments like this. When Allah touches your soul not with answers, but with presence, not with words, but with something that bypasses your mind completely and speaks directly to your heart. That's what that laugh did. It didn't teach you anything new. It reminded you of something ancient, a part of you that knew joy, a version of you that existed before the pain began, before people disappointed you, before life broke pieces you never got back. And for one brief, holy second, that version of you opened its eyes and felt again. So the next time you hear a child laugh, don't brush it off. Don't say, "It's just a sound." It's never just a sound when Allah is the one who timed it. Because when the most merciful wants to reach someone who's been drowning in quiet sadness, He sends joy, wrapped in something small, soft, unexpected. And sometimes that joy comes from the mouth of a child. 2. Allah sends joy through others when He knows you've forgotten yours. You didn't realize how long it's been since you laughed freely, since you smiled without forcing it, since you felt something light without your mind trying to ruin it. You've been walking through life like someone carrying something invisible but heavy. People see you and think you're fine. They think you're normal, but only you know what it takes to look that way. Behind the eyes, there's grief. Behind the smile, there's exhaustion. Behind the Alhamdulillah, there's a heart quietly whispering, "Ya Allah, when will it get better?" And Allah hears that whisper. He knows it. He knows the version of you that no one else sees. The version that's tired of trying. The version that used to dream but now just survives. And when Allah knows your soul is too tired to chase joy on its own, He sends it to you. But He doesn't always send it in the way you expect. Not through a speech. Not through a sign in the clouds. Not through an emotional reminder video. No. Sometimes Allah sends joy through someone else. Someone small. Someone who doesn't even know they're carrying healing in their voice. A child. A tiny human, untouched by the weight you carry. A soul that hasn't tasted betrayal, disappointment, heartbreak, or fear. A being that wakes up with no burden and somehow teaches you something without saying a single word. That child who laughed near you, around you, or somewhere within earshot of your pain wasn't random. Allah sent them to you as a mirror, a reflection of something you forgot still exists. Joy, playfulness, ease, freedom. And it wasn't meant to make you jealous. It was meant to remind you. Your heart still knows how to feel it, even if you don't believe that right now. Because joy, in its purest form, can't be manufactured. It can't be forced. It can't be bought or begged. It has to arrive. And sometimes, when Allah knows your heart is too closed to let it in, He sends it through someone else's door and lets it pass by you, quietly, like a breeze, like a whisper, like a child's laugh cutting through the sadness you didn't tell anyone about. It's amazing, isn't it? How something so simple can feel like a whole message sent straight from the heavens. Because joy, real joy, isn't always loud. Sometimes it slips into your world through someone who doesn't even know you needed it. Someone who's not trying to fix you. Someone who's not asking you questions. Someone who isn't judging you for being quiet, distant, or withdrawn. They're just laughing, just living. And that is what makes it divine. Because when you've been numb for so long, you forget that lightness exists. You forget that your soul was built to feel joy. Not just pain, not just loss, not just pressure, but joy, the kind that lifts without warning, the kind that shows up uninvited, the kind that opens your heart without your permission. And the mercy of Allah is that He sends it anyway, even when you're too broken to ask for it, even when you're too distant to recognize it, even when you don't deserve it by your own measure. He still sends it, through a giggle, through a toddler's scream of delight, through the way a baby smiles at something invisible. And just like that, Allah gives you a moment, a holy moment, to remember that joy hasn't died. It's only been waiting, waiting for the right time, waiting for your heart to be ready, waiting for the storm inside you to go quiet enough that you could hear it again. And maybe tonight was that moment. Maybe that child who laughed across the room, on the street, in a video, or at the masjid was your first taste of softness after a season of surviving. And if you felt something shift inside you when you heard it, don't ignore that. Don't brush it off. That wasn't weakness. That wasn't coincidence. That wasn't random. That was mercy. It was Allah saying, I haven't forgotten the softness you were born with, even if you have, and I haven't stopped sending joy your way. You've just been too hurt to see it. But now, you saw it. And even if you didn't laugh, you felt it, even if just for a second. And that second was the seed of healing, the seed of reconnection, the seed of returning to your softness, to your heart, to Allah. Because Allah doesn't just send reminders through pain, He sends reminders through peace. And sometimes, the light you were begging for comes in the form of a stranger's child, laughing at nothing, while your soul listens, like it's hearing hope for the first time in years. And you'll know it was from Allah, because even after it's gone, you'll remember it. You'll feel it echo in your chest. You'll hear the laugh again when you're alone, and you'll whisper to yourself, that was for me. That was Allah, sending joy through someone else, because He knew you forgot how to find it on your own. 3. The smile you buried long ago is still alive in the eyes of Allah. You were once someone who smiled without thinking. It came naturally. It wasn't something you had to work for. It wasn't something you had to fake. It just happened. Because your heart was lighter back then. Your world felt safer. The people around you, it felt more permanent. And then something changed. You didn't notice it at first. The smile faded slowly, not all at once, like a candle dimming, not shattering. You told yourself it was just a phase, just stress, just growing up. But deep down, you knew something was missing. It wasn't just your smile, it was your softness. The part of you that believed in simple things, that kindness was returned, that good intentions mattered, that love didn't leave. You buried that version of yourself. Not because you wanted to, but because life gave you no choice. You had to survive. And sometimes, survival requires silence, requires stillness, requires pretending like you don't miss who you used to be. But Allah never buried that version of you. He saw you place it gently in the corner of your soul, not killing it, just hiding it, like a flower you wrapped in cloth and tucked away, because you didn't have sunlight anymore. And now, years later, He sends you something small, something light, something that sounds like the joy you used to feel. A child laughing, a moment that cracks the wall around your heart, just a little. And in that crack, something inside you opens its eyes. The smile you buried is still alive, not as loud, not as carefree, but alive. It's been waiting quietly, patiently, not blaming you, not angry, just resting. And when Allah sends that moment, that reminder, He's not trying to bring back your past. He's trying to awaken your future. Because your smile was never meant to be a memory. It was meant to return, wiser, deeper, built on something real. He knows why you buried it. He knows how much pain it was hiding beneath. He knows you didn't bury it out of weakness. You buried it out of heartbreak. But Allah doesn't forget the parts of you that the world made you abandon. He holds on to them, keeps them safe, so that one day, when you're ready, He can give them back to you. And maybe that day is today. Maybe that child's laugh was His way of tapping on your heart, saying, it's still there. That light you thought you lost, it's still yours. Come take it. You don't have to smile today, but just know, your ability to feel joy again is not broken. It's buried, and what's buried can rise. Allah is not asking you to go back to who you were. He's calling you forward to who you're becoming. Someone who has known pain, but chooses to heal. Someone who has been silent, but dares to feel again. Someone who has cried in secret, but still has laughter written in their story. The world may never know what it cost you to become quiet, but Allah does. He saw every moment you forced a smile just to make others comfortable. He saw every tear you swallowed because there was no safe place to fall apart. He saw you and still sees you now. And He hasn't removed joy from your path. He's just been waiting for the right time to reintroduce it. When your heart is soft enough again to receive it. When your soul is still enough to recognize it. When you're not rushing or pretending, but ready. That laugh you heard. It wasn't just a random sound. It was a window. A small opening in your chest, where your real self, the soft, trusting, joyful one, peeked out for the first time in years, and you felt it. That warm shift, that breath you didn't realize you were holding, that sigh that came from somewhere ancient inside of you, that was your smile, trying to come home. You may not recognize yourself anymore, but Allah does. He still sees the child in you, the one who believed in goodness, the one who loved with their whole heart, the one who didn't flinch when happiness knocked. That part of you still exists. It's just been waiting, quietly, inside the cave where you left it. But light has returned. And even if it's faint, even if it's small, even if it's only for a second, that's how it starts. The smile you buried long ago has not been forgotten, not by Allah, and not by your soul. It's not gone. It's not dead. It's just waking up again. Let it. Don't run. Don't fight it. Don't ruin it with doubt. Let that tiny piece of you, that joy, that softness, that smile, rise again. Even if the world doesn't notice, the angels will. Because when a broken soul remembers how to feel joy again, even for one breath, the heavens record it as a victory. So breathe. Let the wall crack. Let the old light in. Because the smile you buried and was never lost. It was just waiting for the mercy of Allah to bring it back. And maybe, just maybe, this is that moment. 4. Your soul didn't miss the laugh. It recognized it. You didn't plan to feel anything today. Not joy, not softness, not beauty. You were just existing, just passing through the hours, letting the day carry you, the same way it has for so many days before. Quietly, emotionless, safely numb. And then, a sound entered your world, uninvited, unexpected. A child laughed. Not the kind of laugh that demands attention. Not loud or exaggerated, just natural, alive, unaware of pain, unaware of struggle, unaware of how much it would impact you. And yet, it stopped something inside you, something deep, something hidden. But here's the truth, it didn't surprise you. Not really, because your soul recognized it. It wasn't a new sound. It was a familiar one, something ancient, something buried, something that once belonged to you. You didn't just hear that laugh. You felt it, like a memory, like a forgotten part of yourself, suddenly remembering what joy sounded like, not just hearing it, remembering it. Because once upon a time, your laugh sounded like that too. Before you got cautious, before the betrayal, before the heartbreaks you never told anyone about, before people taught you that joy can disappear in a moment. So you stopped chasing it, but your soul never stopped missing it. And when Allah allowed that sound to reach you, He wasn't trying to surprise you. He was trying to remind you of what still lives inside, of what your heart still longs for, even if your mind has given up. Remind you that your spirit was created with joy in its design. That laughter is not something you're too broken for. It's something your soul still recognizes, even in a stranger's child. That moment wasn't just a moment. It was a bridge from your past self to your future healing. It was your soul whispering, I know this, I remember this, I miss this. It's strange, isn't it, how one sound can pierce through years of silence, can open a door you thought was locked forever, can breathe air into a part of you thought had already died. But that's how Allah works. He doesn't always bring you back through logic. He brings you back through memory, through recognition, through something so soft, so innocent, so human. You can't help but let it in, because even if your body pretends not to care, even if your eyes stay blank, your soul doesn't lie. And your soul responded, not with words, not with emotion, but with stillness, with silence, with attention. Because when something is true, your soul knows it before your brain does. And that laugh, it was true. Not just to the child who felt it, but to you, the adult who forgot what it felt like. Because the soul doesn't need language, it only needs light. And that moment was light, a small, holy light, meant only for you. It reached where lectures couldn't. It entered where du'as haven't yet opened. It knocked on a door in your chest that you closed long ago. And without even asking for permission, it stepped inside. And that's why you paused. That's why you felt your breath catch. That's why the world slowed down, just for a second, because something in you remembered something too beautiful to ignore, something you didn't know you missed until it came back to visit. That was Allah's mercy, whispering to you, through a sound you didn't expect, but deeply needed, not to entertain you, not to distract you, but to awaken you, because you haven't been living, not fully, not honestly. You've been managing, surviving, staying busy so the grief doesn't catch up, filling your days so the silence won't break you. And Allah saw that. He saw the way you've hardened, not out of arrogance, but out of exhaustion. He saw the way you've silenced your joy, not because you don't want it, but because you're afraid of losing it again. And instead of scolding you for being this way, He sent you something small, something pure, a laugh, a sound your soul used to know before life got heavy. And your soul recognized it, because no matter how long it's been, no matter how far you've drifted, the design of your soul hasn't changed. It was built to recognize light, to crave softness, to welcome joy. You may have forgotten, but your soul didn't. And now, Allah is calling you back through it, not by force, not by fear, but through familiarity, through something that feels like you, something that reminds you you're not lost, you're just buried, and buried things can rise again. That's what this moment was, not a coincidence, not background noise, but a spark, a return, a remembering. The laugh you heard wasn't just random sound. It was a piece of your soul knocking from the inside, saying, I'm still here, and I still remember who we used to be. Don't run from it. Don't shut the door again. Let it sit with you. Let it remind you. Because when the soul recognizes light, that's not just emotion. That's a divine appointment. And tonight, Allah chose to meet you through a laugh that no one else noticed, but you, because it was never meant for them. It was meant for you. 5. Joy is not dead. It's just been quietly waiting for you. You've been telling yourself it's over. That maybe joy isn't for you anymore. That maybe you had your chance, and life took it back. You've been looking around, seeing other people smiling, laughing, living, and deep down thinking, I can't remember what that feels like. And you don't say it out loud. You don't let it show, but it sits in your chest like a quiet emptiness, a numb ache that follows you through everything. People think you're just serious, or maybe distant, but only you know the truth. You've stopped expecting joy to return, not because you don't want it, but because you don't want to be hurt again. And maybe you've convinced yourself that's okay, that growing up means letting go of certain dreams, that adults don't laugh like children, that people like you, who've lost, who've sinned, who've been disappointed too many times, don't get to feel that light anymore. But what if I told you that joy isn't gone? It's not dead. It's not lost in some past version of you that can never come back. It's just been waiting in the quiet, waiting behind the grief, waiting beneath the layers of fear and fatigue. Joy doesn't leave you. It just sits quietly until your heart is safe enough to let it in again. And when Allah wants to remind you of that, He doesn't do it with thunder. He doesn't do it with some dramatic sign in the sky. He does it gently, softly, so gently that most people miss it. But you didn't. You felt it even if you didn't know what it was. That moment when a child laughed near you, when their voice broke through the air like sunlight between two clouds, when their joy echoed in a way that made the world feel suddenly less heavy. That was not random. That was not background noise. That was joy, saying, "I'm still here. You may have forgotten me, but I never left you." Allah sent that moment for you, a sign, a sacred reminder, not just to tell you that joy still exists, but to show you that your heart is still capable of recognizing it. You felt something shift, something you haven't felt in a long time, a softness, a pause, a glimpse of something that didn't feel like sadness. Even if you didn't laugh, even if you didn't smile, you still felt it, that quiet feeling that said, "I remember this." And that's how joy speaks to those who are healing, not through noise, but through memory, through recognition. Your heart is not broken beyond repair. It's just been in hiding, guarding itself, healing in silence. And Allah, in His mercy, didn't punish you for that. He didn't rush you. He didn't shame you. He waited. And when your heart opened just a little, He slipped in something beautiful, something light, something small but real, a child's laugh, the sound of untouched joy, the sound of a soul that hasn't learned to be afraid yet. And it reached you. Maybe not all of you, maybe not enough to make you cry, but enough to make you pause. And that pause was holy, because sometimes the smallest cracks in your armor are how Allah lets the light back in. That's what that moment was. A crack, not in your weakness, but in your numbness. The wall you've been hiding behind, it's starting to open. Not because you're trying, but because Allah is guiding. You see, you're not too far gone. You're not too broken. You're not too late. Joy has not passed you by. It's not something that lives only in your memories. It's not something that belongs to people who didn't fall like you did. It belongs to you too. Because Allah doesn't give joy only to the sinless. He gives it to the healing, to the tired, to the ones who forgot how to smile, but still show up every day. He gives it to people just like you. And when He sends it through someone else, a stranger, a child, a moment, it's not because He's forgotten you. It's because He wants to show you that joy is still possible even when you stopped believing in it. Maybe your joy isn't loud right now. Maybe it's not explosive or Instagram worthy. Maybe it's just quiet, subtle, delayed, but it's coming. And every small reminder you feel, like the echo of a laugh, the warmth in your chest when you see innocence, the way you suddenly remember a version of yourself that used to feel joy so easily, all of that is proof that your soul is responding. That joy is still yours, that Allah hasn't erased it from your story. He's just been rewriting it, making it deeper, making it more real. You're not going back to who you were. You're becoming someone stronger, softer, wiser, someone who knows pain, but doesn't live in it. Someone who still remembers how to feel. So if tonight you feel like you've lost too much to ever feel light again, let this be your reminder. Joy is not dead. It's not gone. It's just been sitting quietly in the corner of your soul, waiting for the door to open. And now that door is opening. Let it, even if it's slow, even if it's small, even if it scares you. Let it, because what Allah sends to you gently was meant to stay. That child's laugh? It wasn't just a sound. It was your first taste of the joy that's been waiting for you to return to yourself. Welcome it. You deserve to. Because your healing isn't just about surviving the pain. It's about remembering the light that always belonged to you, even when the world tried to convince you otherwise. 6. Not every sign comes through struggle. Some come dressed as light. You've been trained to look for signs in struggle, because that's how most of them have come before. A heartbreak that left you breathless, a delay that felt like punishment, a door that slammed shut just when you thought you were finally close. So now, every time something hurts, you look up and ask, Ya Allah, is this a sign? You associate divine communication with pain, loss, discomfort, endings. But what if Allah was trying to speak to you through something else? What if not every sign comes wrapped in suffering? What if this time your sign came softly? What if your moment of divine connection came dressed in something so gentle, so easy to miss? You almost overlooked it, like a child's laugh, so light, so free, so full of the life you forgot was still possible. Maybe that sound wasn't just cute. Maybe it wasn't just coincidence. Maybe it was mercy in disguise. Because sometimes Allah doesn't speak through thunder. Sometimes He whispers through ease. You've been so alert for storms that you've forgotten what sunshine feels like. You think signs only come when you break. But what if they also come when something breaks open? What if that laugh was Allah's way of saying, you're healing now, you're safe enough to receive joy again? But you didn't trust it. You flinched because it didn't come through difficulty. It came through light, and you're not used to that anymore. You're used to learning through loss. You're used to growth through pain. You're used to Allah speaking when everything is falling apart. But now, everything was quiet. And in that quiet, He sent you something beautiful, not to test you, not to crush you, but to remind you, I don't only speak when you're bleeding, I speak when you're blooming too. That child's laugh wasn't just background noise. It was sacred. It was personal. It was a gift from the unseen. Because sometimes your soul has learned so much from pain that Allah decides to give you a new teacher. Peace, softness, beauty, ease. And He wraps that lesson in something familiar. A sound you once made without effort. A sound you haven't trusted in a long time because you've been hurt by good moments before. Moments that came and left. People who smiled and disappeared. Times that felt good until they ended too soon. So you taught yourself to be cautious, to expect struggle, to be ready to break just in case. But tonight, Allah sent a different kind of message. He sent something that didn't break you. It touched you. Not to teach you how to survive, but how to live again. And you didn't know what to do with it, because it didn't come through hardship. It came through a laugh, through joy, through something unexplainably pure. But that's how He does it. That's how Allah teaches balance. He gives you light, after long seasons of darkness, to show you, my mercy is not only in the trials, it's in the relief too. And maybe that's the hardest part for someone like you. Trusting relief, accepting joy, letting ease be a message instead of a trick. You've become so familiar with the weight that when Allah sends something weightless, you assume it's temporary, unreal, dangerous. But what if it's not? What if it's healing? What if the softness is the new chapter, the new test, the new lesson? To believe in goodness again, to accept beauty without fearing its loss, to recognize Allah's signs not just in what hurts, but in what heals. Because you can't stay in survival mode forever. You weren't created to only endure. You were created to feel, to witness, to receive. And if Allah is sending light your way now, don't block it with your past. Don't reject it because it doesn't look like struggle. Not every sacred thing comes heavy. Sometimes it comes gently, delicately, soft as a giggle from a child that finds you when you weren't even asking for comfort. That moment, that laugh, it wasn't meaningless. It was Allah rewriting your relationship with joy, teaching you that He doesn't just rescue you from drowning. He teaches you how to float, how to breathe again, how to smile again without waiting for the pain that usually follows. That laugh was a holy interruption, a break in the pattern, a signal that your soul is no longer trapped in cycles of only learning through struggle. You're being invited into a different classroom now, one where softness is the teacher, one where joy is the curriculum, one where you're finally allowed to relax your shoulders and exhale. And maybe you don't trust it yet. That's okay. Allah knew that too. That's why He didn't send a flood of joy. He sent a drop, one small drop of laughter, to remind you it still exists and it's still yours and you can still feel it. You haven't missed your chance at joy. You're not too far gone. You're not too scarred to be soft again. You're just new to this phase. The phase where peace is a message, where light is the sign, where ease is not a trap, it's a gift. So take it, receive it, trust it slowly. Let that child's laugh echo in your soul. Let it touch the places that grief silenced. Let it teach you what struggle couldn't, that Allah doesn't always test by taking. Sometimes He tests by giving. And tonight, He gave you something small but sacred, a sign, a whisper, a gentle proof that He still speaks. Not just when you're breaking, but when you're ready to rise. 7. The laugh wasn't for your ears, it was for your dua. You've been asking Allah for something, not always out loud, not always in sujood, but in whispers only your soul could make. Those tired, wordless duas that escape between sighs, the ones you make without moving your lips, the ones you don't even finish because you're not sure if they still matter. You've been praying, quietly, consistently, desperately, and the world hasn't changed. At least, not in the way you expected. The pain still lingers. The questions still ache. The delays still hurt. So you started wondering if your duas are stuck, if they're floating in the air unanswered, if you missed the window, if maybe Allah heard you but chose not to respond. And then it happened. A child laughed, a laugh so random, so out of place, so simple. It almost didn't register, but it reached you. Something about it pierced through the background noise of your life. It landed in your chest, not your ears. And you paused, not because it was loud, but because it was personal, even though it wasn't meant for you. Even though the child didn't know you were nearby, even though no one said your name, still, you felt something. And maybe you didn't realize it then. Maybe it felt like nothing more than a passing sound. But what if it wasn't? What if that laugh was the answer to your dua? Not the full answer, but the beginning, the sign you've been begging for. Because not every dua is answered through action. Not every dua is answered with a yes, or a door, or a person, or a miracle that looks obvious. Sometimes Allah responds to you with a sound, a whisper, a moment, because He knows. That's all your soul has the strength to absorb right now. And maybe that's exactly what that laugh was. A sacred message, not sent to your ears, but to your heart. The part of you that's been numb, that hasn't smiled in weeks, that forgot how joy feels, that wonders if Allah sees your pain at all. That laugh was Allah saying, I hear you, and I haven't left. It wasn't noise. It was a divine delivery, wrapped in something so light, you almost missed it, but your soul didn't. Your soul recognized it, because your soul is still alive, even under the weight of exhaustion, heartbreak, and silence. You see, when you ask Allah for healing, He doesn't always bring it through something big. Sometimes He begins by softening the edge of your sadness, one moment at a time. And tonight, He softened it with a sound that didn't answer your question, but reminded you that the conversation is still happening. Your dua was not ignored. It's just being answered differently, not all at once, not in the way you imagined, but in the way your soul needs most. Because you didn't just ask Allah for a result. You asked for connection, for relief, for a sign that you're still seen, still loved, still guided. And that's what that laugh was. It was Allah's way of saying, I'm still here with you, even in this, especially in this. Sometimes the answers come quietly, so softly that only hearts in pain can recognize them. Because the louder the world gets, the more Allah's messages arrive in whispers. And the only way to hear a whisper is to be still. You've been still for a long time, emotionally, spiritually, frozen between faith and fear. And now Allah whispered back, not through a voice, but through a child who has no idea that their joy was used to heal someone else's soul. That's the beauty of divine timing. Allah doesn't need people to know they're delivering something sacred. He just places them near you at the exact moment when your heart is tired enough to finally feel again. So maybe that laugh wasn't for entertainment. It was for remembrance. It was for all the nights you prayed without tears, because even crying felt too hard. All the days you showed up broken, because healing felt too far. It was for you. A message. Not to fix everything, but to say, I haven't forgotten your prayer. I've just been preparing your heart to receive the answer. And sometimes, before Allah gives you the answer, He gives you capacity. Before He sends the blessing, He teaches you how to recognize beauty again, how to trust lightness again, how to receive ease without fear again. And that child's laugh, that was ease, a drop of it, a spark of it, to remind you that not everything sacred has to be heavy. Some gifts come dressed in softness. Some mercy arrives through joy. Some divine replies are wrapped in the sound of life itself, untouched, unfiltered, and so full of light that even your pain paused for a moment. And in that pause, you remembered that you're not forgotten, that you're still connected, that Allah has not grown tired of your silent prayers. So, the next time your dua feels unanswered, don't just look for something big. Look for something small. Look for the moments that reach you quietly, the ones that don't feel like a solution, but make you feel alive again. Because sometimes, before Allah gives you what you asked for, He gives you what you need most, a reminder that He's still listening. And maybe that laugh wasn't for your ears at all. Maybe it was an echo from the unseen, sent to hold your soul when the world couldn't. 8. The next time you hear a child laugh, let it heal you. The next time you hear a child laugh, don't ignore it. Don't brush it off. Don't let your pain convince you it's nothing, because it's not nothing. It's not just background noise. It's not just another sound in a noisy world. It's a message, a whisper, a ripple from the unseen, sent directly to your soul. You might not always recognize it, because healing never announces itself. It arrives quietly, without permission, without warning, and sometimes it arrives in the sound of a small laugh from someone who hasn't yet learned how heavy the world can be. That laugh isn't meant for your ears. It's meant for your soul, to remind it of what it used to be, what it still is, what it can return to. Because your soul knows joy. It was created with it. It was born with it. Before the heartbreaks, before the betrayal, before the tears you never talked about, before you forgot how to smile, your soul knew how to dance in the lightness of joy. And that child's laugh isn't just a moment. It's a mirror. It's a reflection of the version of you that never stopped existing, just went into hiding. And now Allah is calling it back out, not with force, not with commands, but with light, because your healing isn't going to come through more pushing. It's going to come through more permission. And that laugh is permission. Permission to let your guard down even for a second. Permission to believe in innocence again. Permission to feel beauty without fearing the cost. You've become so used to protecting your heart that you forgot what it feels like to let something in. You've spent so long surviving, you forgot what living feels like. You've been so wrapped in caution that even joy feels suspicious now. But Allah knew that. That's why He didn't send you something overwhelming. He sent you something soft, something playful, something pure, a child's laugh, so that it could slip past your defenses. and speak directly to the part of you that's still alive under all the numbness. That part of you that's waiting, quietly, secretly, waiting to be reminded that life still holds beauty. That joy is still possible. That light hasn't left you, and the moment you heard it, your soul recognized it. Even if your body didn't move, even if your face didn't change, even if you kept walking, your soul paused. It leaned in. It received the message. It remembered. Because healing doesn't always feel loud. Sometimes it's as subtle as a breath, a shift, a sound. A single sacred sound reminds you your softness isn't gone. It's just sleeping. And Allah is waking it up with light, with laughter, with reminders that don't feel like sermons, but feel like home. So the next time you hear a child laugh, pause, breathe, let it in. Let it remind you that not everything innocent dies. Let it remind you that you haven't missed your chance at peace. Let it remind you that Allah still sends healing, not just through hardship, but through happiness too. You don't have to cry. You don't have to feel it all at once. You just have to be open. Let it land. Let it echo. Let it stir the part of you that still hopes, even if you've stopped admitting it. You've been strong for so long, too long, and this moment, this laughter, isn't asking you to be strong. It's asking you to feel. Not everything you hear is for your ears. Some things are for your healing, and this is one of them. A moment you weren't expecting, a sound you didn't ask for, but a reminder you needed, because no matter how dark your world has felt lately, Allah still places light around you. And sometimes that light has a voice. It laughs. Not because everything is perfect, but because joy still exists. Still breathes, still moves, still touches people who thought they were too far gone. Let it touch you. Let it change you. Let it soften the parts of you that even you forgot were there. That laugh wasn't for the world. It wasn't for the child. It wasn't for the crowd, it was for you. From Allah, a healing wrapped in a giggle, a hug disguised as sound, a message saying, "You're still mine, I still see you, and I'm still sending light your way." So the next time it happens, don't walk past it. Don't shrug it off. Don't tell yourself it means nothing. It means everything. It means Allah is near. And when He sends joy through someone else, it's because He knows you forgot how to ask for it yourself. Let it heal you, because maybe the next chapter of your life won't begin with a miracle. It'll begin with something small, like a sound, like a moment, like a laugh that only you were meant to hear. So the next time you hear a child laugh, don't just walk past it. Don't rush back into the noise. Pause. Close your eyes. Let your soul remember. Because maybe that sound isn't just joy. Maybe it's a dua being answered. A quiet one, a tired one. One your tongue stopped saying, but your heart never stopped sending. And maybe tonight, Allah is replying. Not in words, but in warmth. Through a sound, through a child, through a reminder so gentle. Only the ones in pain will recognize it. That laugh wasn't just a laugh. It was light. It was mercy. It was Allah whispering, "You'll feel again. You're not forgotten, and neither is your softness. Your healing is already happening, even if all you heard was a laugh."